So what did you see against Syracuse? Pros and cons, good and bad. I would think it's heavy on the good side.
Yeah, it was a lot like the Stanford game. It was just an overmatched team, and the team finally started playing lighter, like not as if every single snap held the weight of the world on their shoulders. A slow offensive start again, got to get those cleaned up. No penalties on offense. It was drops and missed running lanes. As opposed, Mark Cristobal 2 weeks ago said that we were going to. I see everybody in the comments about recruiting. We're going to get there. I see it. I promise. Excuse me. But Cristobal said that he guaranteed that they were going to clean up the offensive procedural penalties, and he delivered on that guarantee. So good for them on that. Hit the trick plays, dialed a bunch of them up, did a lot of different things, a lot more pin and pull. We got in the run game getting to the edge. We had Gerard Pringle Jr. in there, and he really had some juice and was able to go out there and score very quickly. Dalen Upshaw came in off the bench because JoJo Trader had another terrible drop, even though this one did not end up in an interception. It might have been a touchdown had he caught the ball wide open on a drag route. And he, Dalen Upshaw, that is, creased a tunnel screen for about 45 yards, or 41, excuse me, to be exact. And it was very interesting. Gerard Pringle and Dalen Upshaw, who I just mentioned, both true freshmen, both won Scout Team Player of the Week in the cadre of players who got that, and Offensive Player of the Week overall for the game. So these are guys who were splitting time on scout team for a couple of reps, running over with the ones, getting a couple of reps and everything, but stayed ready when their number was called. And you love to see that. The defense was fast and swarming and physical, did all the things that you want to do, had 3 takeaways. So, we won that battle. Really like the creativity on offense. Mario Cristobal finally getting a recruiting promise checked off from years ago. He promised Francis Mauinoa that he would get a touchdown in college the same way that Cristobal did for Penei Sewell at Oregon. And he had a throwback for a touchdown, which technically had to be a run because offensive linemen, you cannot throw the ball forward to them. You have to throw it backwards. But yeah, so you got that. Carson Beck had a touchdown catch from Malachi Toney on the extension of the 2-point play against Louisville, where we ran to the right and through it, ran that same play, but tweaked the blocking, stop, throw back to Carson. He's wide open. So there's stuff in this playbook, man, and they said they'd been practicing the Maui Noah play since he got to campus. This kid's a junior, started every game for 3 years. So these are things that have been repped and are in the playbook, which only leads me to think, how else you got in there, Shannon Dawson? You in here cooking. I saw, there was things, bro. But, everybody has to do their job on every single play. First play of the game was a touchdown to Malachi Toney. The defensive lineman got no pass rush, and when you get no push on the pass rush, they tell you to get your hands up. And he tipped the ball on a shallow crosser that on Wednesday evening to right now, Malachi Toney is still running west out of the end zone from Hard Rock Stadium had that ball gotten there. It's the margins are thin and everything, but yeah, we stomped them real bad as it should have been. Allowed a touchdown late, which was significant to some, depending on where you got the line and everything. My favorite thing was, a measure of revenge on Syracuse for losing to them. And we, again, another game that we shouldn't have last year, 21-0 after 18 minutes and then getting blown out 42-17 the remainder of the game. But also their loudmouth coach, like Fran Brown, wants to always he wants to chirp and he wants to say things. He's talking in the middle of the game, before the half. Man, we were on the verge of having them quit and da-da-da-da-da-da. And asked about it on Monday in his morning radio appearance. Mark Cristobal said, we didn't look like any quitters when we were up 38-3, though, did we? And I mean, I love that energy. But yeah, we did what we needed to do. Had some new guys rotate in at a bunch of different positions. The thing that I'm interested to see are about the injuries coming out of this game. it is Keontae Scott, the nickel, the Thorpe Award semifinalist, got injured during the game, and then he played with, or he did not play anymore. Isaiah Taylor, Jason Taylor's son, came in at nickel, and a couple other people. The severity of his injury is under much scrutiny at this point, so he may or may not play this week. And without K. Scott, that is a big loss for this defense if he is out. I know people are already trying to jump in and say, well, it should be Jadis Richard in there or whatever. Jadis Richard and Ryan Mack both played their first snaps in a year coming back from ACL surgery last week. So I'm a little hesitant to just say, okay, well, he's a plug-and-place replacement for arguably the best or the MVP on defense of this team, even over Ruben Dane Jr. You know what I mean? So we'll see about that. We'll see about CJ Daniels coming back. We'll see about OJ Frederick coming back. Mark Fletcher, I do believe, is supposed to be out for another week. Ahmad Moten Sr. might come back. But yeah, we're interested to see that. But for a vast majority of this game, even while there was a little bit of a slow start, this team looked like the team that we saw for the first 6 weeks, 7 weeks, or whatever. And they should look like that against this caliber team, which is pretty analogous to Stanford, which, I mean, just a woeful bunch. So it was good to get the points on the board. It was good to hit the trick plays. It was good to shut their loudmouth coach up and everything. I don't really think that that's indicative of anything moving forward because we're not going to play any other teams that are as bad as Syracuse or Stanford. Those are the worst two teams on our schedule. We're not playing any teams that are that bad anymore. But it's good, again, to get some buckets, to make some plays, to have some things go the way that you want them to go, to get that momentum moving forward. So yeah.
We appreciate you being here at the Voice of College Football. We do this on Wednesday nights. Cam Underwood's here from the State of the U the rest of the week. Check out Cam and the rest of the staff there at the State of the U. We do have a super chat coming in. And we've got Paolo Fran Brown, the head coach you love if he was on your team, but hate as your opposition.
I'm from Detroit. I rooted for the bad boys. Trust me, I get it. Dennis Rodman, Bill Laimbeer. Yep, I get it. I'm sure if Fran Brown was associated with the Miami Hurricanes, if he was, I mean, not our head coach, but, if it was our defensive coordinator or safeties or whatever, if he was wearing orange and green, I would be down for that dude. No, he's on the other side. So, yep, love to hate him. Exactly. And, he talks reckless like he did last year. And then, he can hold that from now. So, yeah, I have no problems with any of that.
All right. And we've got this comment coming in. We appreciate you. Keontae Scott, straight ballin'.
Yeah, man. The award semifinalist. He should be a finalist, if not front runner for the award. Like, this is a guy, his impact cannot be overstated. Miami thought they were set on defense after or going into the spring with transfers they were bringing in and everything. And Corey Heatherman even said it this week. He said, look, after the spring, we put in the tape of guys who were in the transfer portal and put on the tape of Keontae Scott. And he told and the first thing he said to the entire room is, how do we get this guy here? And this is after spring, right? So a guy like Charles Brantley from Michigan State, a Florida native, honorable mention all conference in the Big Ten last year. You figure he plays slot. He's going to be the slot defender. Charles Brantley is, I don't know that he's played snaps this year, at all. If he has, it's been a handful at best. You know what I mean? They had to go and do some things. And so, you went out and got Jacoby Thomas late in the second portal window. Thank goodness. You went and got Keontae Scott in the second portal window, and those are your best two defensive backs. And a Thorpe Award semifinalist, he is straight balling. So, again, hopefully the rumors of his injury are greatly exaggerated. But if not, it's going to be a real interesting rotation on defense to see, especially against NC State with CJ Bailey, the Chaminade alum, who is their quarterback now, and he's been dealing the last couple of games, so they want to throw the ball. So, who do you play where if you're without K. Scott? And is OJ Frederick back? Because if he is, then you think, okay, maybe your corner rotation is Ethan O'Connor, Damari Brown, OJ Frederick, and Xavier Lucas. Maybe you take Damari Brown, rocked up at like 6'2", 208, who looks like a college, carbon copy of college Antrell Roll at this point, physically at least. Maybe you move him inside and you bully the slot from that nickel. Maybe you move Xavier Lucas and you put a track team out there. Maybe you take Jacoby Thomas as a bigger slot, move him down to the nickel, put Bryce Fitzgerald out there to play center field next to Zach Poyser. Maybe you rotate some freshmen inside, outside, all over the side on the – but, like, if you're without K. Scott, he's such a Swiss Army knife. I think that you're going to probably see 2 or 3 players rotate at that spot, given – scenarios and situations of the game, to try to replicate what he does, because he's so impactful as a blitzer, as an apex run-setting edge defender. And you think about it differently than Ruben Bain, but he knifes in there. He beats blocks and everything. He gets tackles for loss. He gets sacks. He plays man coverage, zone coverage. He does it all. And so I think that if he's not there, you'll probably see 2 or 3 different guys rotate in there to cover the skill set that he offers in just one person, if that makes sense.